oh my God, I thought that would be the most competitive fight, and it came out the most easiest fight. He showed how he can control a fight. He showed how smart he is in the ring and how strong he can punch. He showed all of that. Stevenson ran from Kovalev. I hope he doesn't run from Gvozdyk too. We would like to get that fight. We are going to see. Those are the words of Egis Klimas, who is the manager of Oleksandr Gvozdyk, the light heavyweight contender who just scored the best win of his professional career so far in the weekend against Adonis Gonzalez. He's saying that his fighter would, or he would like his fighter to face WBC light heavyweight champion Adonis Stevenson. He hopes that Stevenson doesn't run from the fight, suggesting that Stevenson ran from one of his other fighters, I believe. Klimas also manages Sergey Kovalev. Now, without going over old ground too much, the last person who made the Stevenson-Kovalev fight impossible was Kovalev himself. Kovalev, Duva, his people, they pulled out of the purse bid. I believe that was in, was it 2015? I think it was in 2015. Early in that year, they pulled out of the purse bid. The fight could have happened. It was on them that time. Previous to that, yes, it was Stevenson's fault that the fight didn't happen with Kovalev on a previous occasion when they were both on HBO. So both parties have been at fault, again, without going over old ground. In this particular instance, Gvozdyk against Stevenson, I would love to see the fight. Stevenson at this point in time has become a virtual irrelevance in the light heavyweight division. I mean, Stevenson is not involved in any fights of any consequence anymore. He has literally become the forgotten champion, really, of his own making. The guys who they're even talking about matching him against are people that you have no interest in seeing fight anybody, never mind just fight Stevenson. I hope and pray that Gvozdyk gets forced upon Stevenson somehow. I hope and pray that Beterbiev or one of these top light heavyweights gets forced upon Adonis Stevenson, because that seems the only way that this guy's actually going to fight anybody relevant in the light heavyweight division at this point, whether it's down to promotional differences, business, whatever the case may be. As a boxing fan, I don't really care. I want to see the fights. And all the people that are trying to match Stevenson with at the moment, they don't exactly inspire much interest from me. They're talking about Stevenson possibly against, who's the Colombian light heavyweight that just knocked out Lucian Bute? I forget his name. I can't remember the guy's name off the top of my head. It will come to me probably later on in the video. You guys know who I'm talking about. I've seen several of his fights. He fought Isaac Chalemba and several other people. He just knocked out Lucian Bute. Him against Stevenson, it's an okay fight, I suppose. But I would much rather see Stevenson Beterbiev. I'd much rather see Stevenson Gvozdyk. I'd much rather see Stevenson versus Kovalev or Ward, so on and so forth. So on this particular occasion, I'm very much with Egis Klimas, the manager of Gvozdyk. I am praying and hoping to God that somehow, some way, Gvozdyk fights Adonis Stevenson. I think it will be a great fight, an interesting fight. Gvozdyk has had some very good performances of late. After that shaky performance against Karpency, he's come back with 2 great wins, stopping Isaac Chalemba and stopping Adonis Gonzalez. So he's on the up and up. Stevenson's coming off. God, it was a long time since Stevenson fought, wasn't it? He fought Thomas Williams Jr. in his last fight. That was quite some time ago. So this is a long layoff for Stevenson, who must be, what, 39 years old, pushing 40 now? Would be an interesting fight. I'm not going to just jump out and say Gvozdyk would win it, because although I do think Stevenson is on the slide in quite a major way, Gvozdyk is still a bit inexperienced, and that Karpency fight wasn't a million years ago. If Karpency can hurt him and drop him that badly, if that big left hand from Stevenson lands, I'm sure Gvozdyk is going to find himself in serious trouble. Gvozdyk, I believe, is a talented fighter. I think he's a more rounded fighter than Stevenson. He's got the youth on his side. I think he has better hand speed, at least in combination. Stevenson's got a fast left hand, but in terms of when he puts his punches together, I think Gvozdyk is a bit faster. But Stevenson is wily. That's the thing about him. He's crafty, he's wily, he's been around, he knows the tricks, he knows how to get that big left hand off. So he might be in there with a guy who's more talented than he is, who's younger than he is, who has better hand speed than he does. But Stevenson is so wily, he's such a veteran, he's so crafty that he can find a way to land that big left hand. And he's still got serious mustard on it. So to me, it would be an interesting fight, a fight I'd love to see. Let me know what you think about Egis Klimas's remarks here regarding a fight between Gvozdyk and Stevenson. Do you think this fight has any possibility of happening? I mean, we have to remember that there is network issues. Gvozdyk fights on HBO. Stevenson fights mainly on PBC, on the various different platforms that are affiliated with PBC. But given the fact that Gvozdyk is not a world champion, if he was to enter some type of purse bid situation with Adonis Stevenson, and Stevenson's side of the equation won the purse bid, would Gvozdyk be willing to go and fight on Stevenson's platform? I would hope so. It would be worth it. He could potentially take Stevenson's WBC light heavyweight title and then return back to HBO as a champion. I would hope that could happen. I would hope they wouldn't be as stubborn and unreasonable as Team Kovalev in terms of fighting on a different network, potentially, if you lose a purse bid. So let me know what you think in the comment section, people. It's happening. I'm out.